Lions Nation, something just shifted in Allen Park. And I'm telling you right now, the front office is making moves that could change the trajectory of our season in ways most people aren't even paying attention to yet. While everyone was obsessing over the trade deadline and what we didn't do, the real story is unfolding right under our noses. And what I'm about to break down for you in the next few minutes has massive implications for how this team approaches the rest of this championship run. Welcome to Lions News Fan Report, your home for the freshest updates, the hottest rumors, and the most in-depth analysis of our beloved Detroit Lions. This is where you get the real insider perspective, the kind of breakdown that goes beyond the surface-level headline. Stick with me all the way through, because what happened this week tells us everything about Dan Campbell's mindset and where this organization is headed. Let me paint the picture for you. The NFL trade deadline came and went, and yeah, we didn't make any splashy moves. No blockbuster acquisitions, no headline-grabbing trades that would have sent social media into a frenzy. Some fans were disappointed. Some were questioning whether we were aggressive enough, whether we were truly going all in on this season. But here's what I need you to understand. Sometimes the most important moves happen in the shadows, away from the bright lights and the ESPN ticker. Sometimes championship organizations make calculated, strategic decisions that don't generate buzz, but absolutely move the needle when it comes to winning football games. And that's exactly what happened the day after the trade deadline, when the Lions made a move that might seem small on the surface, but speaks volumes about how this coaching staff is thinking. The organization has been dealing with some adversity lately, and I'm not just talking about injuries, though those have certainly piled up. I'm talking about the kind of gut-check moments that define whether a team is truly built for a deep playoff run or just another pretender that folds when things get tough. Coming off that bye week, everyone expected us to be sharp, focused, locked in for what should have been a statement game. Instead, we got punched in the mouth, and it stung. The defense struggled, special teams gave up momentum-shifting plays, and suddenly we're looking at a loss that has everyone questioning whether we're still the team we thought we were just a few weeks ago. Dan Campbell didn't sugarcoat it either. He stood in front of the media and took full responsibility, saying the Vikings caught us unprepared, saying he didn't have the team ready. That's the kind of accountability that makes you respect the head coach. But it also raises the question, what's the solution? How do we fix this? How do we get back to playing Lions football? Well, the answer started to reveal itself on Wednesday when the Lions made an official announcement that's going to fly under the radar for most casual observers, but shouldn't for anyone who truly understands football. The team signed linebacker Tai Summers to the active roster, promoting him from the practice squad. Now, before you dismiss this as just another roster move, just another guy shuffling between the practice squad and the 53-man roster, let me tell you why this matters more than you might think. This isn't just about adding a body. This is about adding depth, versatility, and championship experience to a position group that desperately needs reinforcement right now. This is about shoring up special teams, which, as Campbell himself admitted, cost us dearly against Minnesota. This is about having options, having players who can step in and contribute immediately when the margin for error is razor thin. Let's talk about Tai Summers, because his journey tells you everything you need to know about the kind of player Dan Campbell values. This guy's been around the block. He came into the league back in 2019 as a 7th-round pick of the Green Bay Packers, so he knows what it takes to compete in the NFC North. He's appeared in 86 NFL games over his career, which means he's got the kind of experience you simply cannot teach in practice. He's logged 90 career tackles, and while he's primarily been a special teams contributor throughout his career, that's exactly what we need right now. He's appeared in 3 games for us already this season, playing in 53% of our special team snaps without seeing any defensive action. But here's the thing, he's ready if his number gets called on defense. And in a season where injuries are piling up and depth is being tested every single week, having a guy like that on your active roster is absolutely crucial. The Lions have actually moved Summers around quite a bit this season, which tells you they've been evaluating exactly how he fits into this puzzle. They released him from the active roster back in October, then immediately signed him to the practice squad the very next day. That's not a coincidence. That's a team keeping a player in the building, keeping him engaged with the system, keeping him ready for the moment when they need him. And that moment is right now. Summers fills the roster spot that opened up when we had to place offensive lineman Christian Mahogany on injured reserve, which is another unfortunate injury we're dealing with. But the front office moved quickly, decisively, bringing in a player who already knows the system, who's already been in the building, who can contribute immediately without any learning curve. Think about the bigger picture here for a second. We just came off a loss where special teams gave up critical plays that shifted momentum. Campbell specifically called that out in his press conference. He wasn't making excuses. He was identifying problems that need solutions. And what did the organization do? They brought in a special teams ace who can help fix those issues immediately. That's responsive coaching. That's an organization that identifies weaknesses and addresses them in real time. Summers brings speed, he brings awareness, he brings the kind of disciplined play that wins hidden yardage battles on kickoffs, punts, and coverage units. Those plays might not show up on the highlight reels, but they absolutely show up on the scoreboard. And they absolutely matter in close games, which is what we're going to be playing for the rest of this season. Now, this wasn't the only roster move the Lions made this week. And the other moves tell us something about how the organization is managing the business side of football. The team released a pair of players who had been on injured reserve since the preseason. Offensive tackle Justin Herron and tight end Kenny Yeboah. Both guys reached injury settlements with the team. And while it's always tough to see players leave, especially guys who were injured while competing for roster spots, these moves were necessary to create flexibility moving forward. Yeboah in particular was expected to compete as our primary blocking tight end after signing as a free agent. But he injured his knee in the Pro Football Hall of Fame game and never got the chance to show what he could do. Herron was another preseason casualty, and while both players showed promise, the reality of the NFL is that roster spots are precious and teams have to make difficult decisions. What excites me about all of this is what it says about our coaching staff's mentality. We're not panicking. We're not blowing things up. We're making smart, calculated adjustments to put ourselves in the best position to win every single week. We're coming up against a Washington Commanders team that just lost their starting quarterback Jaden Daniels to an elbow injury, which obviously changes the complexion of that matchup. But Dan Campbell isn't taking anything for granted. He's not assuming we'll just show up and win because the opponent is short-handed. He's making sure we have the depth, the preparation, and the roster construction to execute our game plan at the highest level. That's championship-level thinking. And that's exactly what we need right now as we navigate the toughest stretch of our schedule. So here's where we stand. Tai Summers is back on the active roster, ready to contribute on special teams and provide linebacker depth if needed. The Lions have cleaned up some roster spots by moving on from injured players who weren't going to contribute this season. And most importantly, this coaching staff has shown they're willing to make quick adjustments when things don't go according to plan. That loss to Minnesota stung, but it doesn't define us. What defines us is how we respond. And I'm seeing all the right signs that this team is locked in and ready to get back to playing. LionsFootball.now, I want to hear from you, Lions Nation. What do you think about bringing Tai Summers back to the active roster? Do you believe this move helps shore up our special teams issues? Are you confident that Dan Campbell and his coaching staff can get us back on track after that frustrating loss to Minnesota? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I want to know how you're feeling about where this team is headed. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay locked in on every Lions move, every roster update, every piece of insider analysis, then smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell for Lions News Fan Report. This is your home for daily Lions content, real fan perspective, and the kind of deep dives you won't find anywhere else. Share this video with your fellow Lions fans. Drop a like if you appreciate the work and keep coming back for more. One pride always. Let's go get this win.